So why is peak performance necessary? Why do I coach and train peak performance? Why do I talk about peak performance? And why should you be interested in any sort of performance optimization? It comes down to this. You are a business owner. You've made a decision to stand out, to step up, to play at a different level, to play a different type of game to most people in the world, right? You've self-selected yourself to be a leader, to do something significant, right? To contribute, to lead other people, to build something, to create. That decision to be significant requires a different set of tools than the average person, right? The average person has an average performance toolkit that they can pick up and go to work and be the human they need to be in a job, in their general life. You're not playing that game. You're leveling up. You're playing at a whole different level of game, right? You're playing the significance game. You're playing the contribution game. You're playing a longer term game that has different rules and has different requirements. And simply to play that game, you need different traits, right? Different qualities, different character, different mindset, different personality even. There's a different set of tools that goes with building a business, with being somebody of significance, with standing out, right? That decision to be divergent and diverge from the norm requires a different level, a different capacity, right? It comes with different stress. It comes with a different environment. You're operating in an environment that most people don't have to deal with. They don't have to contend with building a business, running a business, leading people, dealing with clients and customers, dealing with people inside their business, and doing all of that whilst working on themselves and dealing with themselves, right? Most people can be out in the world and they can do a self-development journey, right? And they can just work on themselves because that's really their focus. That helps them, and that's super important for you to work on as well. But that's one perspective. That's one of the tools you need. You need to work on yourself and optimize and improve yourself. But you're doing that in the context of also optimizing other people and business systems and customers and clients and relationships and other human beings. And you have responsibilities and pressures from all of those aspects. So just understand that you are playing a game of significance, and that game is on a whole other level from most people. And that's why peak performance is critical for you specifically, because that game requires you to level up your thinking. You've got to have a different mindset. And maybe for you, the decision to become an agency owner, to start a business, to be a leader was very natural, right? Just you had that natural inclination that a lot of us have to do something different, to be something different. And it felt quite natural to step into that vision of something bigger, to become a leader. Even if it wasn't to become a leader, to start a business, right? To not have a job, to do something divergent to most other people. That might have been a really innate decision or a feeling, like that's just naturally inclined. I'm naturally inclined to be that person and do that as a career path. Even though it felt, and it might have been very natural, it's still, once you've made that natural decision, it still requires you to act on a different level than most people. And that's why peak performance and optimization of your daily rituals, what you do, how you do them, why you do them, when you do them, all that kind of stuff becomes even more critical than the average performer. The average person out there in the world doesn't have to tackle as many challenges as you do on a daily basis. So this is why optimizing how you perform and how you show up, and being able to work at a higher state of consciousness, have expanded belief systems, improve how you think about yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you express yourself, how you connect and collaborate with others. All of these tools become even more important for you because you've decided to play at this game. So that is really why peak performance is important. And optimizing your performance comes down to optimizing your daily habits, optimizing your routines, optimizing how you show up when you do things, what you decide to focus on. Because again, unlike most people, you have more things that you could possibly focus on. You're juggling a lot of balls all of the time. Most people have 1 or 2 balls that they're juggling. You might have 7 or 12 or 20, and you're constantly juggling these balls and trying to decide which ones maybe can you put down for a while and which ones should you focus on. So there's just a whole lot more going on for you, and that requires, as I said, a different toolkit, and that toolkit is a peak performance toolkit. That's why you've got to know this stuff. That's how it's going to help you, right? Is to give you those tools, to give you that capacity to deal with the 20 balls that you're juggling, to collaborate better with people, to be a better leader, to lead yourself, right? And not get overwhelmed, to not get stressed, to increase your capacity, to be motivated, to show up every day, right? That's a major one, just to show up and lead and be the person that people want to follow day in, day out, whether you feel like it or not. So motivation comes into play, but also grittiness, right? Resolve, willpower come into play on the days that you don't feel like being motivated, because let's be honest, you're not motivated every single day. A lot of days you don't feel like showing up, but you still have to do that meeting. You've still got to lead your team. You still got to be the person that you need to be significant, to build something significant. So there's a lot of subtlety, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that's going to give you that toolkit. It's a pretty deep toolkit of peak performance, of optimizing yourself, optimizing your days, and making sure that you can deliver every day, day in, day out. But while you're delivering and while you're hustling and building and growing and creating and inspiring, also coming back to yourself, right? And not just being the person that's giving, pushing, working, but you're also recovering and you're kind of touching in and tapping in to your own needs, right? That's a massive part of peak performance. You want to be regenerative. If you're burning yourself out every day, every week, every month, you're not going to come back and be able to perform optimally the next day, the next hour, the next meeting, the next year. So peak performance is, when we think of performance, we think of the doing aspect, right? And the hustle and the push and the growth and all that great stuff. If we do that in the right mindset, yes, we can get significant, impossible things done, but there's also a balance. We need to counterbalance that push with some resolution, with some relaxation, with recovery, because we are biological engines, we're biological machines, and that biology dictates that there's a threshold, there's a limit to how far and how much we can push and still be optimally performing. Our performance is going to drop off if we don't leverage our biology in the right way, right? So we want to make sure that we're leveraging our biology to serve our purposes, to serve our goals. And that is as much as leveraging when we're up and pushing and really leaning into those times where we should be pushing and hustling and grinding and getting stuff done, but also countering that with active recovery, taking the weekend off, taking an afternoon off, taking a break, taking a breath, right? Flowing with our biology, flowing with our biological rhythms on a daily basis, on a monthly, yearly basis. So all of this stuff plays into why it's so important for you as someone that's self-selected to do and be something significant, to get this stuff dialed in. This is why this might be interesting for you. And this is why it's super important from my perspective to bring this to you, to sort of help you on that path, to guide you down the pathway to becoming an optimized human being that's here to contribute, to do something significant. So I hope that was useful. I hope that's given you a bit of a a primer on why peak performance and why I feel that this is really important for you to get to grasp, to have this toolkit. So I want you to have this toolkit so that you can be your best, because when you're at your best, you can lead better, you can contribute more, you can be the person you want to be, you can achieve your significant goals, you can achieve extraordinary things. But that requires a toolkit. So you need to know that toolkit, and you need to be able to practically drop that into a tactical day-to-day plan. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that was useful. And I hope it's given you kind of an overview and a perspective on when I say peak performance, or when you hear peak performance, you hear flow states, you hear optimization, productivity, what that stuff actually means and why it's critical for you as a self-selected leader to really dial that stuff in and practice it and get it baked in to the DNA of your normal operating rhythm, your daily rituals. So as always, I hope that was useful. Drop a comment below if this is posted somewhere where you can comment. Drop a comment, let me know what you thought about that, what you think you can do to optimize yourself, or maybe how you're already doing that, right? A lot of you are already doing a lot of these things. So let me know what works for you, where you think you might improve. Let's get the conversation flowing. Appreciate you spending the time here. I'll catch you on another video soon. Cheers, guys.